It's the story we first brought you 3 weeks ago about a history of violence and domestic abuse turned deadly. Police shot a man at a Cleveland gas station because they say he wouldn't stop stabbing his girlfriend.
Now, that man died more than a week later from a gunshot wound to the neck. Now, his girlfriend is speaking out. News Channel 9's Jerry Askin spoke with Heather Killen tonight. He joins us now with more. Jerry.
Hey, Kim and Kevin. Heather Killen admits she was abused by Bobby Forgy in the past, but stayed with him up until that night several weeks ago. Although she defends his actions on that night, one local organization says her story is a reminder to recognize the warning signs of domestic abuse.
I wished he wouldn't have had to die. I love him. I always love him. He was the love of my life, my soulmate. But I got to spend it with him. Heather Killen spent her birthday last week in a hospital mourning the loss of her boyfriend, Bobby Forgy. Police shot Forgy because they say he was stabbing her. It happened on July 16th at this gas station in Cleveland. And I'm screaming at them, telling them, please don't hurt him. He's not hurting me. And he had his arms around me. And then all of a sudden I hear a boom and they shoot him in the head for nothing. Killen admits Forgy stabbed her earlier that night, but says it wasn't at the gas station. She says Forgy had a mental illness, and that's why he did it. He was diagnosed with being bipolar, psychotic, and schizophrenic. Forgy was listed as a violent sex offender on the TBI's website. According to Bradley County records, Forgy has a criminal history dating back to 2004. They show he pled guilty to a domestic assault charge back in 2005. Now, I spoke today to a domestic violence counselor who explained to me a few signs of abuse. She says the first step is admitting you're in an abusive relationship.
In my experience, the women who deny it or the men who deny it, it's usually because they're trying to cover something up, or like maybe they're fearful of the situation and they don't want to aggravate it by saying anything publicly about it, so they're really afraid. Killen says there were good and bad times during their 15-year relationship, but it's her last words to him she'll never forget. I told him that I loved him and I forgave him for everything that he done to me, and to ask God to forgive him of his sins so he could go to heaven. And while the partnership was not involved in this case, Carmen Hudson says the organization does help women and children in similar situations. They supported more than 100 women and children last year. Calvin.
Okay, thanks, Jerry. If you or someone you know needs help, you can call the number on your screen. That's the partnership's 24-hour crisis hotline at 423-755-2700.